Thank you for clicking on the channel.
AOSD.
Assembly of Sound Doctrine Chandler.
Assembly of Sound Doctrine.
AOSD, RPK, Resurrection Prophet Kingdom. Like, subscribe, share. Let's go.
Come get a lesson. I'm teaching blessings. No need for guessing. I'm knowledge testing. It's truth time. The wise will shine, and the wicked will pine. I'm a righteous kind. Break out of trouble, I'm keeping it subtle. Just me and my brothers and sisters. They love us, we fixing the puzzle, no stressing. Our cousins, the buck of the struggle with aunties and cuz. Wanna read it, believe it. They should be back, see it and need it. Like a kid back, breaches and pieces. Like a Kit Kat, Akis and I get seated. It's a Hollywood, not Dollywood. Alpha love, the kingdom within. AOSD is finessing. RPK, let your journey begin. It's a Hollywood, not Dollywood. Alpha love, the kingdom within. AOSD is finessing. RPK, let your journey begin. AOSD, 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 Assembly of Sound Doctrine.
Shalom, people. Shalom, shalom. Give me 1 sec. Y'all know how I do. Give it a second. Alright. Alright, here we go. Shalom, people. Shalom, shalom. Got a leg. Alright. Let me try to tag some people real fast. Alright, hold on, let me. That's it. Alright, y'all. I'm coming. I'm coming. Give me a second. Okay, just give me a second. Trying to see my other brothers. Tony, you got me with your new name, man. Okay. All right, here we go. And y'all can tag whoever y'all want to. All right, there we go. All right, what we're gonna do? Quick lesson, because for some reason we keep having this run-in or this teaching that Christ actually spoke or taught against polygyny. So what I'm going to do, I want to demonstrate how the conversation went using the Bible. All right. First thing first, it's important to understand this. It's important to know this. First century, when the New Testament was created, Israel, or especially the Southern Kingdom, they were a polygynous society, okay? This was the rich and the poor. They were a polygynous society. So, common sense tells you, this is just common sense, off top. If Christ and Paul and the disciples only talked to monogamous people, they only talked to a little bit of the population. That's one thing. Second of all, a lot of people, if it was a majority cultural thing, a lot of people was discussing polygyny and living a polygynous lifestyle. That means that in order for the people, if the people was preaching the gospel only to monogamous people, that means that they would have created a lot of divorces in order for these people in the polygynous community to receive the gospel. So either they didn't go out and talk to the polygynous people, or they made them get divorces in order for them to receive the gospel, which both of it makes absolutely no sense, especially since Christ and the disciples grew up in a polygynous environment. So that's first thing first. You got to understand it. That's first thing first, okay? They were not Americans, no matter how you look at it. Israelites, first century, were not Americans. They didn't have an American point of view. Even though the Romans was there at the time, they still was fighting against the Roman point of view. So if you're not looking at the scriptures from the cultural aspect, then you're already off. You're already lost in the sauce. So you got to know the culture-wise first before you even understand the words. So let's try to jump into the scriptures now, where people use the conversation. And we're going to use a little visual aid today, okay? So let's go to Matthew 19. And we're just going to read what's going on here. Matthew 19:1. And it came to pass that when Jesus had finished these sayings, he departed from Galilee and came unto the coast of Judea beyond Jordan. And great multitudes followed him, and he healed them there. The Pharisees also came unto him, tempting him, and saying unto him, Is it lawful for a man to put away his wife for every cause? Now, off top, you have to understand they are in a polygynous society, okay? They were not in a monogamous society. They were in a polygynous society. And in this polygynous society, the Pharisees came to Christ and asked him about divorce, okay? So the conversation is about divorce. What was the rightful and wrong way to divorce in a polygynous society, okay? Not a monogamous society. You got to get this. You have to understand this. You have to understand the culture, okay? So this is a polygynous society conversation. So now, is it lawful for a man to put away his wife for every cause? So now, look at how the conversation flows. And he answered and said unto them, Have ye not read that which he made them at the beginning, made them male and female? So this is Christ's response to a question about divorce in a polygynous society. So now he goes back to the beginning. So we're going to go back to the beginning, just like he did. And then we'll skip back. Okay, so we're going to go to Genesis because he's pulling from Genesis. So Genesis 1:27. It says, So God created man in his own image. In the image of God created he him. Male and female created he them. So this is what Christ is pulling from right here. In this image, the two beings that he created was created in his image. Okay? So now, let's see if we can find out what's going on here. This is Genesis 1:27, right? 1:27. And God, right here, right? So you see right here, 1:27, Elohim, which is a plurality, okay? It's plural. Now, a lot of people want to do, this is the magnificent plural, which could be a one God that has plenty different attributes and all of that. No, if you go into the Targums and all of this other things, you will see that this was actually some deities with an S, not just a singular one. So now you have a plurality of deities that had a contribution of creating a plurality of men, aka men and women. So that's the first aspect. We're dealing with plurality here, okay? We're dealing with plurality creating plurality. if we want to be specific. Because some of these people, we got to get technical, because people, we love technical things when it's beneficial. So let's just do the whole thing technical. So now, and God, plurality, said, let us make man in our image after our likeness. So now, understand, he created male and female in his images, or the images of the Elohim. Verse 28, and God blessed them. So listen to the blessing. And God blessed them and said unto them, be fruitful and multiply and replenish the earth and subdue it. So listen once again to the instructions that was given. Be fruitful and multiply and replenish the earth and subdue it. For everybody out there, this has never stopped. Okay, this is a non-stopping command from the Most High. And have dominion over the fish of the sea, and over the fowl of the air, and over every living thing that moveth upon the earth, that includes mankind itself. So the Father allowed mankind to have dominion. That was the point. Mankind determined how they were going to govern the earth through the blessings of the Elohim. And what was the blessing? Be fruitful and multiply and replenish the earth and subdue it. Everybody, the rules did not come until later on, until after they ate from the tree of knowledge of good and evil. That's when the rules came. Before the rules came, this is what they had to do. Fruitful, multiply, replenish the earth, subdue it, and have dominion. This isn't the first time the Most High said it. Once you go back to verse number 22, and God blessed them, who was them? The great whales, and every living creature that moveth, which the waters brought forth abundantly after their kind, and every winged fowl after his kind. And God saw it was good, or Elohim. And God blessed them, saying, be fruitful, multiply, and fill the waters in the sea, and let the fowl multiply in the earth. You see the difference between what man got and what the animals got. Man was supposed to have dominion and to subdue the earth, while the animals themselves was supposed to be just fruitful and multiply. He told them all the same, it just mankind had a little bit more rules. So, did he create a monogamous society with the animals? Right here. When the animals was born, when the animal was created, did he create a monogamous society with the animals? So, when mankind gets the same instructions, be fruitful and multiply and replenish the earth, the same instructions, now you have people want to tell you that this was only for monogamy. See, when the animals got it, it was okay for polygyny or polygamous, or how the animal kingdom works. But when the upgraded animals got it, which are the human beings, no, it was just for monogamy with them. You see how this doesn't, first of all, it doesn't even flow together. The point was for mankind to be able to create their own government using the blessings of the Most High. So, hopefully we have that understanding now. Because now we're going to get into a little bit more visual aid. I think we need visual aid. So then we go to Matthew 19. And I'm going to read 4 and 5 and 6. In which he answered and said unto them, have you not read that he which made them at the beginning made them male and female? Remember, this topic is about divorce. And said, for this cause shall a man leave father and mother, and shall cleave to his wife, and they twain shall be one flesh. Wherefore they are no more twain, but one flesh. What therefore God has joined together, let no man put asunder. So now, let's read it again. Verse 5, and said, for this cause, what cause? Them being male and female, them being made male and female. For that cause shall a man leave father and mother, which is another male and female, and shall cleave to his wife, and they twain, two, shall be one flesh. So now, let's go into Genesis and see what's going on here. Because you have to have a fundamental understanding of Genesis to understand why Christ pulled from Genesis. So Genesis, 2:22. Well, let's start at 21. And the Lord God caused a deep sleep to fall upon Adam, and he slept, and took one of his ribs, and closed up the flesh thereof, the flesh instead thereof. And the rib which the Lord God had taken from man, made he woman, and brought her unto the man. Okay, so now, visual aid time. Okay, now it's time for some visual aid. See, and I'm not the best drawer at all. No. But some people are visual learners. So we have Adam, and y'all don't laugh at my drawing. Sorry that. We have Adam, and then Eve is created. So now, sorry about that. So we got Adam and Eve. Okay? Now, sorry if this doesn't make, sorry about the drawing. I know that's a terrible drawing, but anyway. So, it started off Adam. Now, if you take the story literally, okay, but it started off Adam, right? Then, from Adam, Eve was made. So, it started off one flesh, and at the end, it became two flesh, two people, okay? The beginning started off one flesh. This is what it's teaching. It started off one flesh, ended with two. Once again, started off at one. Eve came out of Adam, making it two, which means now Adam is incomplete. Adam now is incomplete. Why is Adam incomplete? Because he lost some of himself, and that self that he lost became another individual. So at this point in time, Adam is no longer in his original state because he's incomplete, and this is the part of Adam now that's incomplete. Once again, the woman is the part of the man that's incomplete. So now, this is what it's teaching. So let's read further. And Adam said, this is now bone of my bones and flesh of my flesh. So shall be called woman, because she is taken out of man. So now, once again, this is Moses giving a commentary of the beginning. Once again, this is Moses giving a commentary of the beginning. This is not the Most High talking. This is Moses talking, giving a commentary. So this is his commentary. Therefore shall a man leave his father and his mother, and shall cleave unto his wife, and they shall be one flesh. So now, let's go through what was exactly said. So now, we have it right here, right? So now let me erase this. So now let me draw out, once again, visual aid so we can actually understand what was being said right there at that moment. When Moses was given this commentary, Moses was a polygynist himself. The Egyptians were polygynous. The Torah that Moses gave them in the wilderness contained laws dealing with polygyny, and now Christ is pulling from Moses the polygynist. So now, this is what's being said here. A man shall leave his mother. A man shall leave his mother. And once again, sorry about the drawings. And father. And cleave to his wife. And be one flesh. All right, so this is it right here. Right here. Sorry about that, y'all. Now, so man shall leave his mother and father. So first of all, mother and father, they are one flesh now. They are completed. They're back in the original state that Adam was in. So this body is completed. This is a complete body now. So this will be a complete body with an extra body member. Once again, this is a complete body right here. This is one flesh with an extra body member, which is the Son. So the Son has to become one flesh with somebody outside of the flesh of his parents, because he's an addition to their flesh and it doesn't line up. This is why he addressed man, because man can only become one flesh with a woman. That's why he didn't say a woman must leave. The man has to leave, because the man controls the flesh. Once again, the man controls the flesh, and the woman come together to complete his flesh. They were not a feminist society. Sorry if y'all thought that. So now, the one flesh, man leaves the one flesh, which is his father's union, and he gets his own union, right? So when he becomes with his wife, they're no longer twain. They're no longer one and two. They cleave together and become one flesh, because now they are in the original state of Adam, which was one flesh before Eve came out of him. So their union is the same state that Adam was in. So now, since they are in one flesh now, they are in one complete body now. This is the completed body, right? This is the completed body of man and woman. What happens? This is the completed body, right? So, husband and wife creates a completed body, one flesh. So what happens when another woman comes along with a body right here? What happens now? Well, if she cleaves to her husband, they become what? One flesh. Again, these two makes one flesh, okay? One completed flesh. But if another woman comes and cleave to that husband, or that one union right here, that one flesh, she becomes part of that flesh, making her turn back into one flesh. Okay? One flesh. It always goes that way until you have children. Now, if you have children, your children have to find their own union. This was about children. They have to find their own union. So, this is what's going on. Son has to use, I'm sorry, it's hard to keep up with these. I'm looking at it backwards. Let me see if I can get my fingers right. Okay, I say father and mother, one flesh, create son. Son cannot be in union with father and mother. They're already one flesh. They have their own union. So son has to go out and create his own union. So he gets a wife, and they become one flesh. So now, if another woman comes in, she cleaves to this flesh already developed, making her part of the one flesh, the one union. This only works with women because men controls the union. Men controls the union. He cleaved to his wife, and then that's how it goes on. It started off with Adam. It's always going to be Adam being the head. Adam always going to be leading. Man is always going to control it. This is why man had to go out from his mother and father and create his own union. It's always man. So whenever he has a union, another woman can join in, and they still be considered one flesh, okay? One flesh. And then if they have kids, then the son has to go out and create his own union, as well as, and then if they have a daughter, right? If they have a daughter, then somebody else's son comes in and cleave to their daughter, creating another union. So in other words, to make this all come together, when Moses was talking about what was going on with Adam, he was talking about building the family. People want to take it literal. They missed the point behind it. They was talking about remember he told them to be fruitful and multiply? This is exactly what this is all about. Being fruitful, multiplying, have dominion. Being fruitful, multiplying, have dominion. Being fruitful and multiplying. That was the point. Not what anybody else. He wasn't down in polygyny. He wasn't saying that you can only have one man, one woman. Nobody. Once again, Moses was a polygynist when he wrote Genesis. When he explained Genesis, or it wasn't called Genesis then, was it Bereshit? I don't know what it's called. But whatever it was called then, you can look it up in Hebrew, he explained it to the Israelites. He was a polygynist himself. So why would he go tell anti-polygynist stuff to a polygynist environment or a polygynist society? And then why would Christ, who lived in a polygynist society, come with an anti-polygynist doctrine? Or why would Paul, who lived in a polygynist society, who talked to the Jews who were polygynists, come with an anti-polygynist doctrine? Nobody does that. This is the American mind. This is because Americans don't like it, especially the more effeminate, more of the feminists. They really don't like it. So they try to twist it a little bit and don't look at the real meaning of Scripture. But this is that was going on, and they try to make it seem like Christ was really talking against polygyny. No, he wasn't. No, he was actually dealing with divorce using a scenario that creates polygynists. But let's go back to Matthew. Let's go to Matthew again. And right here we see in Genesis, therefore shall a man leave his father and his mother, and shall cleave unto his wife, and they shall be one flesh, creating that original state of Adam. So if another woman comes, she cleaves, well, that man cleaves to that other woman and creates the same one flesh, okay? You don't get no more than one flesh. No matter how many women join in union with a man, it's still considered one body. One flesh, one union, okay? No matter if it's one woman or 10 women, it's still considered one flesh, one union. Christ did the same exact thing with the church because he could use these scenarios to build the church. One body in Christ, many members, one body. Once again, one body in Christ, many members. Many people join in together, but it's still one body in Christ. They was able to use the whole society that they lived in. Once again, Christ came through the body of an Israelite who was used to Israelite customs, who was used to the idioms and the metaphors dealing with Israel. He would not have jumped into a Roman understanding dealing with the Israelites. That's not what he would have done. And you can tell it by his church. And I'm going to say it one time, then I'm going to go back to Matthew. His church is one body consisting of many members. When the northern and southern kingdom split, the God of Israel was at one point married to both of them. He was married to, they started off as one flesh, and hopefully you're actually understanding some of the deeper points behind Genesis and not really taking it so literal, but they started off as one flesh, split up into two kingdoms, and the Most High was married to both of them. He was married to the northern and the southern kingdom, which is once again a polygynous marriage, but they were still considered to be able to come back under one head. He was a husband to one body. And let me show you real fast, and I'm going to Matthew. This is Jeremiah 31 dealing with the new covenant right here. Jeremiah 31, you can see it right here. Behold, the days come, said the Lord, that I will make a new covenant with the house of Israel, northern kingdom, and with the house of Judah, southern kingdom. Covenant is a marriage. It's a contract. It's a marriage. With the house of Israel, one wife, and the house of Judah, to the second wife, not according to the covenant that I made with their fathers in the day that I took them by the hand to bring them out of the land of Egypt, which my covenant they break, although I was an husband unto them. Who was he a husband unto? The northern kingdom and the southern kingdom. Right there. It's right there. But now, let's go to Matthew 19, and let's try to finish it. So Matthew 19 and, what was it, 5. So they're talking about divorce. It says, and when he answered and said unto them, have ye not read that which he made them at the beginning, made them male and female? And he said, for this cause shall a man leave his mother and shall cleave to his wife, and they twain shall be one flesh. Wherefore they are no more twain, but one flesh. What therefore God has joined together, let no man put asunder. So now, are you telling me that when Christ was bringing this word to polygynists who had more than one wife, and he literally said what God has joined together as in a union, let no man put asunder, he really meant that polygyny was wrong and they needed to be separated? He's talking about marriage, and people is using this to talk about polygyny against marriage. Being a polygynist means you're married to more than one wife. So Christ is literally promoting marriage, and you use this same verse to promote divorce, saying that no, it's not polygyny, it's supposed to be monogamy. So what about all the polygynists that Christ was talking to? Were they supposed to up and divorce their wives? Say, hey, I know he just told me that whatever God put together, no man should put asunder. But since I'm a polygynist, I got to divorce one of you guys in order to be monogamous, because in the beginning, male and female, he created them. No, that's a breakdown that people use today because they don't like it. That's nothing what Christ was saying. Not a least of it. So let's go to verse 7. They say unto him, why Moses then command to give a writing of divorcement to put her away? Once again, what is he talking about? Divorcement. Christ was promoting marriage. Didn't matter if it was monogamy or polygyny. He was promoting marriage. Okay? Marriage. And listen to verse 8. He said unto them, Moses, because of the hardness of your hearts, suffered you to put away your wives. But from the beginning, it was not so. Why wasn't it not so from the beginning? Why did he say that? Because in the beginning, once again, Moses only spoke of unions. When he was given what happened to Adam and Eve, he only spoke of unions. He only spoke of being fruitful and multiplying. He wasn't speaking on divorce. What he said was, if you are a man has to leave his father and mother. Father and mother, one flesh, one union. A man had to leave that, or the son had to leave that, create his own union. So husband, wife, one flesh, one union. If another wife come around, husband cleaves to that wife, and she becomes what? Part of that one flesh, one union. And all this keep happening. And if they have children, the man, their boy child, is supposed to go to another female child and create one union with her. And if they have a daughter, then a male child is supposed to come to their daughter and create one union with her. And guess what? If somebody else have another daughter, that same male can go to that daughter and create one union with her. Different bodies, many bodies, one union, just like the church. Many members, one body. It's all simple. It's plain. Don't make it hard. Quit trying to make it hard. Quit trying to make it what it's not. It's not monogamy. In the beginning, they wasn't talking about monogamy. They was talking about how two individuals can create a whole world. And with those two individuals, if everything's done correctly, without divorcing, without you mixing fleshes, without this person being a part of this flesh, and then that, even though they're a part of this flesh, they become part of that flesh, even though they got some flesh in them. That's not that was the confusion part of it. The divorce will start messing the original plan up. All the divorcing, not polygyny, not the marriage. It was the divorcing that threw everything off. So Christ is trying to tell them, in the beginning, you guys wasn't supposed to get divorced. If you got a wife, you're supposed to stick with her through thick and thin. And if you got another wife, you had to stick with both of them through thick and thin. And if you had another wife, you had to stick to all three of them through thick and thin, because all three of these are your body. This is your union. You got to stick with them through thick and thin. And this is what, and they got so accustomed to being able to marry this woman and then marry that woman, then divorce that woman and marry another woman to replace that woman. And they got so accustomed to it, they were saying that we pretty much can divorce for any reason. And Christ was like, no, in the beginning, you couldn't do that. You're supposed to stay married. You're not supposed to divorce. And look how the disciples responded to that. Listen to they got so used to divorcing for no reason. You can listen how the disciples responded. Verse 9, and I say unto you, whosoever shall put away his wife. Now, except it be for fornication. So now, if you put away your wife just because remember, that was the original statement. Up here, is it lawful for a man to put away his wife for every cause? So they wanted him to put away for anything. And it said right here, didn't say unto them, why did Moses command given a right in divorce to put her away. So the point was, could we divorce a woman for anything we want? And Christ said, no, you only can divorce her because of fornication. Why fornication? Because she messed up the original plan of being part of flesh with one husband. Her flesh is with 2 or 3 husbands now. So now she has 4 or 5 husbands, and that wasn't the original plan. So Christ was letting it be known, in order to get to the original plan, if she committed a fornication, you can divorce her then. But listen, so let's see what it says. And I say unto you, whosoever shall put away his wife, except it be for fornication, and shall marry another. Marry another what? Marry another what? What is the Senate saying? Because people want to jump in it and make it say something that it does not say. Listen to the subject of what Christ is saying. And I say unto you, whosoever shall put away his wife, and except it be for fornication, and shall marry another. Another wife? No, not another wife. Another wife that has been put away. Once again, he's not saying and marry another wife when you put away a wife. That's not what he's saying. He's saying, whosoever shall put away his wife and marry another wife that has been put away. Once again, the subject was a put away wife. So if you marry another wife that has been put away after you put away your wife for no cause, you committed adultery. And whosoever married her, which is put away, does commit adultery. Once again, it's all about the put away wife, not a wife in general. So now, and I say unto you, whosoever shall put away his wife, except it be for fornication, and shall marry another put away wife, you committed adultery and she committed adultery, because the woman got put away for no reason, meaning she's still married to that man. So you have married a woman that's already belonged to somebody else. And he married them, and she married her husband knowing she belonged to somebody else through the sight of the Most High, through the original plan. So you can't put away a woman for no just cause and marry another woman who has been put away for no just cause, because y'all are both in adultery. This is what he is saying. He's not saying that if you put away a woman, you can't marry another woman. That's not what he's saying at all. This is the misunderstanding of the scriptures, and this is what we do when we try to A, read it like an American, B, read it like this is English class, C, forget how the Hebrews actually spoke. So this is how you got to go in there. You got to actually go in that Greek sometime and in that Hebrew and just learn a little bit more. So, and if you go in there, you will see. So this is what he was saying. This is what he was bringing out. You can't put away a wife and then marry somebody else who has been put away. That's fornication. Unless they was put away for fornication. So, sorry, that's adultery. Unless they've been put away for fornication. So now, look, verse 10. His disciples said unto him, If the case of the man be so with his wife, it is not good to marry. So they understood. Oh, snap. So I'm stuck with this woman for the rest of her life. So if I married her because she looked good, and I found out that she couldn't cook, she couldn't clean, she had an evil streak, she was very wrathful, but she didn't cheat on me, I got to stay with her forever? And then imagine if you get 2 or 3 women like that. Imagine if you get 2 women or 3 women that argue all the time, and they make your life a living HE double hockey sticks. The disciples understood this, and they was like, oh, if that's the case, men should not even marry. And listen to what Christ said. And he said unto them, all men cannot receive this saying, save they to whom it is given. So this is not for everyone to understand, just for the people who's actually trying to be righteous. For those people, those individuals, they will actually understand this. All people cannot receive what I'm saying. So that's pretty much it. So I don't know if that gave you a better breakdown or not. I don't know. But Christ definitely wasn't speaking against polygyny in verses 4 and 5. And for the record, I'll make it one more time because we got new members coming on. So I'll quote it one more time and then I'll call it a night. This was the quote. Have ye not read that he which made them in the beginning made them male and female, and said, for this cause shall a man leave his father and mother, and shall cleave to his wife, and they twain shall be one flesh. Wherefore there are no more twain, but one flesh. So, this was the little ugly diagram I made because I can't draw, but this is exactly what Christ was saying. He quoted from Moses, and Moses said in Genesis, a son, therefore this cause, because they was made male and female, Adam laid down, went to sleep, woke up, Eve was a part of him. Eve being a part of him meant Adam was incomplete now. Adam was no longer one flesh, but two. This is why the Most High was able to call both of them Adam, because she had an Adam in her, and the original Adam wasn't whole no more. He was split in two. So this is the picture that was supposed to go in your mind. When a man and woman come together, they cleave together to one flesh, means that they are in the original state that Adam was in before the woman left him. So now they are one flesh once again, one flesh. So when they have a son, the son cannot be part of this one flesh. This is their union. The son has to go be fruitful and multiply, so he has to create his own union. So the son go out and he cleaves to his wife. So when the son, the husband, cleaves to his wife, just like the mother and father, he becomes one flesh, right? He becomes one flesh. But when this one flesh, they're no longer twain, but one. So when an additional person comes, this lady right here, when she cleaves to this union of husband and wife, they're no longer twain, but one flesh again. They always, with this scenario that the Bible gives, they're always going to be one flesh because the man controls the flesh. When they cleave together, it becomes one flesh. This is why Moses took it to the man leaving the woman and leaving the mother and the father. The man had to leave the mother and father. So when they have a son, the son has to go create his own union. If they have a daughter, then somebody else's son has to come to their daughter and create their own union. So a woman, a man, no matter how many women he have, is always going to be considered one flesh, because this is one flesh. Another woman comes, that means they're twain. They get married, one flesh again. If another woman comes, they're twain. She gets married to him, one flesh again. No matter how many women it is, he's always going to have one flesh dealing with marriage, just like the church. So that's done. Hopefully we can drop the mic now. Christ did not speak against polygyny. Christ lived in a polygynous society. Paul lived in a polygynous society. The 12 disciples lived in a polygynous society. Trust me when I say they wasn't going around looking at everybody's marriages trying to see who they could and could not preach the gospel to, because they were monogamous and they was all against polygyny. Nobody ever said it happened in the Bible. Only feminists and Americans and these whoever else people that's against polygyny, only they teach such madness. Like Paul was teaching against polygyny, knowing that he grew up in a polygynous society. Like they were just stopping people at the front door of the church saying, you got two wives. No, not in this church. Hold on, I thought Jesus said, I thought your master, your rabbi told you what God has put together, let no man put asunder. When did it ever say that God only deals with monogamy? Where's that at in the Bible? So you mean to tell me that this man been married to these women 15, 20 years, and now in order to enter the church and get the gospel, he has to divorce one of them to be monogamous? And that's the only way that Paul would talk to him? No. This is what y'all do with the scripture. They was worried about union. The Most High loves marriage. The Most High has never been married to one individual. Never. Christ was never married to one individual. He was married to one church full of many bodies. That he was married to the union. The union, which would have been one union, but it's different. It's many people within that one union. That whole church had many members. And we are still increasing the member count of that one church. One union, many members, many bodies. The whole system is based off of polygyny because that's the only way to be rightfully fruitful and multiply and to subdue the earth. It's common sense. You don't have to do it. You could be monogamous if you want to. But let's don't act like that it's against the scriptures. That's what y'all are doing. Y'all trying to make it look like it's against scriptures, and Paul talked against it, and and Timothy talked against it, and then y'all pull like from, look, it says right here that no sexual immorality right here, and you automatically assume that the sexual immorality is marriage, aka polygyny. Marriage is never going to be sexually immoral unless you're doing things that he told you not to do, like man can't lay with mankind like with a woman, and that's supposed to go for the woman too. If you're doing something like that that was specifically laid out that you couldn't do, that's sexual and immoral. And if you actually go into what was actually going on, it was a man had sex with his father's wife. Once again, the son had sex with his father's wife. He stepped into his father's union, which is against the original order that was laid out in Genesis. You're supposed to, the man was supposed to leave the mother and father and go create his own union. But in this scenario, the man actually went to his father's union and slept with her. All against it. That was the sexual immorality that Paul was addressing when he said, every man in this congregation need to have their own wife. Because in that situation, one man went to his father's wife. But if you don't read the whole book, you don't know that. Then you just use it and say, oh, see right here, one man, his own wife, polygyny. No polygyny. Because that's exactly what y'all do without reading the whole thing. Yes, and exactly. And that's exactly what y'all doing. That's what y'all do with the Bible. And when it right here, Paul says, it's up to, hey, I don't want my bishop. My bishop should be the husband. Should be the husband of one wife. And you automatically assume that maybe that's talking against polygyny. How you know, since they had a problem with divorce, they had a problem with putting their wives away for no cause, how do you know Paul wasn't saying that he needed the bishops in the church to not have got a divorce, especially for no cause? Means he needed him to be the husband of one wife. I didn't need you to divorce this woman for no cause and you married another woman and all of a sudden you're trying to come to this congregation saying that you're a bishop and you're going to be over somebody and we're going to trust you with the word. There's plenty ways to say that. It could be that he didn't want a divorcee. Maybe he didn't want a man who has wife who has died and he married another. It could have been any scenario that you want to jump straight to polygyny, knowing that they was in a polygynous society. But on top of that, what if the man didn't want to be a bishop or a deacon? What if he just wanted to be a member of the body? Then what? Because it said a deacon or a bishop couldn't do this. What about the regular members? Could the regular members do it? And if the regular members was already polygynous and they came into the congregation trying to learn about the gospel and follow Christ, what happened? Did Paul and Timothy or all of them turn them around and say, you got too many wives, bro? Too many wives. Over here, we only do one wife thing over here. So I don't know what y'all going to do. You can't get no salvation. You got too many counts, so take you and all your kids out of here. Come on, man. This is what y'all doing with the Bible, man. Y'all destroying unions when throughout the whole the New Testament, Christ said the Father wants you in a union. He wants you married. The Father was pro-marriage. And here y'all come with an anti-marriage doctrine because you don't like for the man to have more than one woman. That's pretty much what it is. Let's call it what it is. You feel like a man shouldn't have more than one woman, and you will use that emotion to lead your whole mindset into trying to find ways that's not even there to go against that understanding. You know that the society back then was polygynous. So then you run to the law of the land. The law of the land says you only can have one woman or it's illegal. Well, first of all, I don't know if y'all were in talks. Y'all didn't hear the talks of it, but Utah right now is actually talking about making polygyny legal. So just like they did with the homosexuality, starts off in one state and then it expands. So then what happened? When it finally hit the 50 states, because it's going to come, trust me, it's coming. When it finally hits the 50 states, that polygyny will finally be legal, then what's going to be the problem then? Is it going to be something, are we going to go something else then? Oh, well, you know, adultery. You can't look upon a woman and lust for her. What are you talking about? You can't, so you're telling me that I can't look upon my wife and lust for my wife? How do I even, the way y'all making it look like is a man can't even approach a woman and want to get to know that woman because he's lusting after that woman. And if he lusting after that woman, it's automatically a sin, so it automatically nullifies what he's trying to do in the first place. He's trying to accomplish family building. He's trying to get another wife. And does it really matter why he wants another wife, actually? It doesn't matter. He's creating a union. As long as he's not out here trying to break, not just to have sex and break up with her, who cares? The Father didn't tell you to jump in anybody else's business. He didn't tell you to jump in anybody else's marriage and use your own understanding and opinion to try to tell that person they're wrong. I say, hey, if you're going to do right by that woman, if she's out there struggling, if she's not struggling, if y'all agree to the terms and y'all going to stick together forever, then do it. You're supposed to be in a union. Have fun. Do it. Be fruitful, multiply, have dominion of the earth. You are in control of your kingdom. Run your kingdom how the Most High makes you see fit. Don't worry about what they talking about. They misquoting the Bible anyway. In fact, they look at polygyny as a Bible thing. Well, you see in the old covenant, you can do it. But in the new covenant, Christ made everything new, started over, so you can't do polygyny. Now, what are you talking about? Polygyny was before that was the Bible. What are you saying? Polygyny is in the Bible. You can read it from Moses, and Moses came out. It was a whole civilization going on before Moses even took them out of Egypt. So they got polygyny from the ancient Egyptians. You think they just made it up in the wilderness? But anyway, polygyny was a society. It was culture, found everywhere. So it predates the Bible. It goes to Revelation, and it's after the Bible. And for some reason, y'all want to make it seem like it's just only for the Bible within those 1,000 and something pages. Well, on this part of the Bible, you could do polygyny. But in this part of the Bible, you can't do polygyny. Polygyny is past the Bible. It expounds out the Bible. It predates the Bible. It's just another form of marriage, just like monogamy. Monogamy was in existence before there was a Bible. It's been in existence when the Bible was finished writing, and it's going to be in existence forever. This is just a form of marriage. But for my people that want to be like, follow the law of the land. Well, the law of the land tells us that we can be homosexuals and run rampant. I mean, it does. So, if we follow the law of the land, I guess it's okay to be marriage homosexual. Marry you a mate that's of your same sex, and y'all go out and create a whole congregation or whatever you want to do, because we're following the law of the land. You're supposed to do the law of the land, and the law of the land says it's okay to do it, so we're supposed to be able to do it. But then they be like, nah, that's immoral. That's immoral right there. You can't go against the Bible right there. Well, marriage was created by the Most High. I mean, then you just read it in, then we read it in Christ, and then we read it in Moses out of Genesis. Male and female created he them, and for this cause, for him creating male and female, shall a man leave his mother and father and cleave to his wife. Marriage was created by the Most High. Not Rome, not Greek, not the Semitic people, not the Hamites, not the Japhites, none of them. None of them created marriage. The Most High created marriage. What man did was they created a culture around marriage, which you have now. You have your dowries and you have your other ceremonies and all of that stuff. This is what man did on top of marriage. I tell you, you can't get married at this age. You can't be married at that age. You got to get permission for this union. You got to get permission for that union. You can do the same sex this or that. This is what man did with marriage. But marriage originated from the Most High. So the law of the land and marriage has nothing to do with each other, dealing with the Most High. This is what man did to mandate whatever they want to do for their own predicament, or their own increases or decreases. So every situation you have against it, it's never going to pan out. The only thing you can do is hit us with some emotions and say, well, it ain't for everybody. Well, we didn't say it was for everybody. If you don't want to do it, don't do it. But don't fault your husband for wanting to do it if you don't want to do it. I've been through the situation. I would say if you love your husband, you adore your husband, you are submissive to your husband, then be led by your husband and see what your husband got going on, because you don't know what the Most High put on his heart. So he can't up and divorce you. He can't. But he don't have to go, to make the house comfortable, y'all should talk about it. But technically, he don't have to go and get your permission. That's one thing he don't have to do. A man leaves his mother and father and cleaves to his wife. The man find the wife and he cleaves to his wife. The woman don't go out trying to find and make the husband do the cleaving. The man goes out, he finds the wife and he cleaves to his wife. That's just how it goes. So if you're out here letting your woman run you and all that stuff, that's on you. And women, if you feel some type of way, I would say get some type of counseling or do some fasting and praying or something. But let's be honest. If we're going to follow men, if we're going to follow our husbands, let's follow our husbands. And if the boat sink, you're supposed to be right there with them sinking too, and y'all supposed to come back up together. But unless you're ready to do that, in any of that, it don't matter if it's monogamy or not. It's not going to work out anyway. But I am done with that. Thank y'all all for listening. So, no, Christ didn't speak against polygyny at all. All right. See you.